know if they saw it.
What went
Here we are.
down with Building 7?
Happy Wednesday morning.
How's it rolling, baby?
Wait.
It's special Tuesday live stream.
It's special Tuesday.
Good morning from the Pine State. I love it.
Alex Holden II. Welcome, sir,
Welcome.
to membership.
Welcome to the cult. I wanted to be more of a
Southern
cult.
Miners. We're like a cult.
More cult-like.
No.
I was about to message
What
Mayor
kind of cult are we
McCheese.
gonna be a sex cult?
I mean, a sex
Nah,
cult.
those always end bad.
Yeah, like,
It always ends up being the one dude at the top.
we should be like
pride
a
of,
drug cult, like a cocaine
lines.
cult. You know, that would be fun, right? Sorry, a nose beer cult?
What
Is that I
if
should
we? What if
say?
we? No, I think it's got to be like ayahuasca or something. It's got to be like, you know.
Johnny, tell the story of the hot chick that tried to get us to do the ayahuasca thing.
I will.
And
I can tell you. Well, so
Tell it now,
okay.
tell it now. Start
All
it
right.
now. Kick it off.
Okay, let's just regale you with some of our adventures. So Derek and I, we went to the Dreamcatcher. It was Rodney Crowell songwriter thingamajig. I don't know what you call it. It's just like a songwriter experience. There's all these famous songwriters. It was actually a lot of fun, to be fair. And now they send me a lot of emails. But you've been before. Can't you come again? No, I can't. Anyways, we're there. We've had this whole weekend. The last day, you get out there and they take pictures and they're trying to get everybody in the crowd to be in a picture, right? So there is this older lady, attractive, blonde, like you might, think, oh, selling something. She latches on really. Derek will dispute this.
Selling
she really
something.
latches on to Derek, and Derek's his military background. And it's like, well, we do these things where we take ayahuasca, like DMT, basically, and, hang out. I mean, she had this whole thing set up. She was coming here. We were going to get a group of friends. It was going to include us all.
This exact photo, Johnny.
This is the photo.
Play a Where's Waldo real quick while Johnny tells the story as well.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
We'll zoom in here a little bit.
I'm sure you can find us.
Man.
Oh, there he is.
That's the lady to my right in the photo. To the left against the tree.
Oh,
There
wow,
it is.
she is hot. Whoa.
I mean,
In my head, I just always assumed she was, no offense, but more haggy.
no.
Like I figured she was more
very
like,
nice, very charming. And to be fair, Derek and I were both like, hey, maybe this is a good idea. Like, we're going to take ayahuasca. Because we had been talking about Joe Rogan. We were on the DMT train.
we've talked about
wanted
ayahuasca
to
many
see some
times.
mechanical elves.
Many a year.
Yes, it was a ton of white people. White people are everywhere. Just on the
Americana
streets.
music, what do you
I was gonna say, there was not a lot of hip hop writing sessions.
Widespread.
So, anyways,
I love the name Bullshit.
bull.
That's pretty great.
Now that you said it out loud, I just kind of got it.
Bullshit.
So, anyways, the only problem was it was quite costly to do this ayahuasca DMT therapy. Quite costly.
Sound goes.
Yeah, you said it was like, a couple $1,000?
It's not
A
bad.
person. But it ended up, wasn't it like more than that? We had to like find a place and a venue and
I was
sign
gonna
these
say,
people up.
I feel like it adds up to probably be about 10K.
And listen,
They just drink you mud. They feed you mud.
here's the thing. I'm sure she does great things for lots of veterans. So we're gonna leave it there.
Great things for veterans. I know a
Jason
veteran.
Prince, all these guitars behind us are half
What
off.
great things happen?
So if you want one, you just let us know. No,
Now-
unfortunately, they're none are for sale.
We've been talking about the road to 100,000, and it's time that we
It's
unveil
time.
it.
We're giving all these away. No,
Just kidding. We're joking.
Jason is kind enough to let us sometimes play with some of his very fancy guitars. I got to say, man, I just played this Slash 335 that's behind me somewhere.
Pretty good.
Where is it? I'm
It's
moving
right
the other way.
there.
Can you see it? I guess I could just hold it. Dude, that's a good guitar. I mean, forget it being a Slash guitar. Forget it being for his blues album and all that kind of stuff. It's just really, really good.
I think I'm gonna have to break out the red eye.
It's got the spongy feel.
Spongy. Spongy, you say? Like SpongeBob?
I mean, we're not plugged in, but man, it's good.
I'm gonna pull out the red eye. I gotta do
We
it.
got the red eye. The fact that the case for the red eye is very bright blue.
Extremely bright blue.
We'll
Extremely.
show it to you in a minute.
There it is, baby, in all its glory. Jason Isabel, I know you're watching. I know you ain't got anything to do since she left home.
I want to feel like he used to feel like the king of Oklahoma. And now he just watches casino guitars. Just watches casino guitars on repeat. I don't know. Oh man, Eric says he had to sell his electric guitar, so his fingers are crossed on the giveaway live stream. Well, my fingers are crossed for you as well, Eric. If you had to sell your electric guitar.
Eric, we're gonna be doing many a giveaway on cool guitars.
Yes.
So just stay tuned, man. We'll, and who knows? We might keep that in mind.
Jack says Uncle Left Eye needs a red eye. Jack, I need a red eye.
Dude. Jason, holding it this morning, since you are watching now, he asked me yesterday, he's like, what do you think? I was not in a guitar mood. I was in a sourpuss, lame mood yesterday. But, playing it today, I'm impressed.
Well, just let Sean take that. I'll take this. It'll be fine.
There you go. Come on, Uncle Jason.
We'll work slave labor for you on the weekends, putting on roofs.
Dude.
It'll be great.
I mean, what is this? This is like...
For the next 75 years.
That was like 5 years worth of roofing every weekend?
It's not. Again,
More?
75 years.
Jeez. Man, the checking on this is
I'm
phenomenal.
going to put you on the spot, though.
Explain that those all are from one collector friend of ours, and that they're
Yes.
we're not
Yeah.
Gibson dealers.
We're not
We
Gibson
are not
dealers.
Gibson dealers.
Shit. Which is unfortunate, and I just want to put out there into the universe, if any Gibson folks are watching, no, it's more than 5 years of roofing.
I said, Jason. I
He
said.
said.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
what we need, okay, is for everyone to just pray, okay? If you're from Gibson and you see
That's not
this...
where I thought this was going at all.
Oh, I was going to take it a different route, and I said, no,
And
you know
that's
what?
good. It's good that you
Let's keep
you went
hope.
kind.
I know.
I still got hope. There's been some
Yes.
not really a setback. There's just
They
I have hope.
They opened up someone else in North Carolina, and it's okay. We were just hoping that
We were
maybe
hoping,
we
which
were...
I would have thought would have had the same rep, but we're gonna be good. But no, these are all from our good friend collector, his collection. Man, that's a lot of guitar capital hanging back there on the wall. So Jack says Mark will come through. I'm with Jack. I'm believing. I do need to hold the red eye. I've not held it yet, but this
You pry it from my cold, dead
this is
hands.
stupid good. Like this is stupid. Like this, and I don't want to say like this might have just. I mean, I know I'm about to talk about a $15,000 guitar as if it's a good deal, but this might actually be the deal because it is a Slash thing. It's from his blues record. It's based on a certain old vintage guitar, and then people are like, "Oh, Slash is not known for a 335," but this is just a killer guitar. It's bound to go up in value. You know what I mean? Like I mean,
I'll tell it to you like this, right?
it's probably as good as any 335 I've ever played.
I went to Guitar Center Friday. Derek went Saturday, which is funny. I went Friday, though, and I played a 335 they had there. That same vibe, Bigsby on it. Same
Custom
thing with
shop.
snake bites, not custom shop, standard run model. It was good. This guitar is phenomenal. This is like everything I wanted to be and more. So I think it's worth it. That sounds crazy.
I would think about
Yeah.
swapping mine. Like if someone was like in a magical scenario, because mine's not worth this, but if someone was like in a magical scenario, oh, well, you can, I would sure think about it, right?
Listen, you can't get rid of blister, baby.
I can't. I really can't. But man, this is good. I'd like to have this in addition. Now, here's my question to you. Putting you on the spot a little bit.
Lay it on me.
So, we've played our friend's Brazilian Dream, which is in the same price range as this.
Yes.
We've played
All
this.
back there?
Is it? Is it back there?
No.
So that Brazilian Dream is one of the best Les Pauls I've ever played.
Yeah, it's over there.
And I think Greenie is phenomenal too. But compare this,
Well, yeah.
Greenie. Now, and I know Greenie, you got to actually go to the Gibson Garage. You got to get the experience, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to put it all in.
Well,
Like,
so here's the thing
you know.
about the Jason Isabel. I don't believe it came with any experience whatsoever, is what I was informed of. Or
No.
at least maybe Jason didn't make it to it. Right now, here's the thing I'll say about this.
God, this one.
Up until, like I said, yesterday I played it and I wasn't in a good headspace for it. But today, this guitar feels amazing.
This guitar right here is
That
amazing.
was my favorite before this. Now, okay, they're strung the same way.
Okay,
too.
Jason says yes, it did.
Yes, it did. It did come with an experience. There you
I thought
go.
it did. I thought you got tickets to see Jason. I thought he was playing like a show at the Gibson Garage. Hello, John W7777. Yeah, no, we're going Tuesday. Derek is about to leave us for like a few weeks, so we thought we'd get in one last live stream. Just a week. Ooh, Jacksto says I watched Trogley on Sundays going over the mod and demo collection. Would you ever get one of those? I'd get one of those.
I would.
Yeah, I mean I would.
I played mod shops that have been phenomenal.
Watching Trogley, that's the questionable thing.
Yeah, you had what was it? The
That was a
middle
cool
one?
guitar.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's funny. The mod on Derek's custom Les Paul Black Beauty was that it had a brown backplate. I think that was the only mod we could find.
Special pickups.
Special pickups too. Okay, there you go. I thought it was just the backplate because I was like, what is that? It? Like I couldn't tell. I was like, oh.
So Jason says that Jason Isabel did play, he just didn't go. But okay, no, here, trade me.
Dude.
Because I mean that
$50,000 of the guitars in your
it's fine. It's just
Here.
another Tuesday at casino. Now this is a bit heavier.
That's called tone wood.
Look at that. Look at it. Look at it.
Look at the red eye.
Look at it.
That's all I gotta say.
My God. Tell me I don't need one of these things. I hate that I need one so bad.
Now
Dude.
this one plays looser, which I don't know. I don't know if I.
I love them both though.
Take.
I like the neck profile on the red eye. This much better. Just a little bit. Rob, I would sell you a custom shop 335 or 39, but we don't have one. Or 59. There's not one here. Jason, you're the man. Jason says, Johnny, anytime I need them. What if it's late at night and I'm all alone? But anyways, you're the man, dude. So there you go. Tuesdays are Soylent Green days. There you go. Hello, Alex from London. Man, thank you. He says we're the best YouTube channel.
What?
He says even when Sean's on. You guys
Even-
are the- No, you didn't say that.
Listen,
That'd be really
been seeing a
funny.
lot of hate in the comments lately. All right, I'm gonna come for somebody.
Yeah, Rob, we're with you. We're working on it. I like to believe that Gibson is working on it. You know.
Maybe they're just like holding out and hiding it, and they're gonna be like, surprise.
Do you remember that show? What was the show where the dudes showed up and they fixed the people's houses and then he's like, move that bus. And it was the crazy dude. What was his name?
Home renovation. What was
Yeah,
it?
but what was the guy's name, Derek? Maybe Mark is gonna show up and have a giant Gibson bus, and he's gonna like, bus driver, move that bus, bam, and then the shop's gonna be full of Gibsons.
Or the shop's gonna burn down, and he's gonna be
Or-
like, gotcha,
Got you guys.
gotcha. Now breathe in the asbestos, boys. Ha ha.
Tom, we'll make the room. We'll
I'm
make
kidding,
the room,
Mark.
Tom.
I'm joking.
I can't wait for the day that we kick Baxter out of his house and the whole upstairs is Gibson land.
I've dreamed. I've told him.
Well, listen, imagine if upstairs was Gibson and Fender Custom Shop land. Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Couple of office spaces. People go up there. We hang out. We sit down on a leather couch. I want a bookshelf that slides out like Mark has.
I want that too.
Uncle Mark is so cool.
If you haven't been in the vault in the back, and I don't know what the protocol is, I think you can just take a tour. The fact that it's like a little fake bookshelf and he pulls the little book and bam, it's open. Extreme Home Makeover. Mayor McCheese coming through. But what was the guy's name? What's the dude's name? The skinny, like, good-looking dude.
Oh, John Bollinger.
No. That's the Pro Guitar Edition. Premier Guitar Edition. I don't know. Yep, that's right. Pinball machines. All right.
So
Anyways.
good, dude.
So there's some Gibson. We've had Gibson love this morning. We were reading about the, I guess some of the old Charlie Starr Juniors.
Charles? What?
so hot.
Not being so.
Now I got to say this first off.
Jonathan hates blackberry smoke.
The worst, but no, I love blackberry smoke.
He himself is in Blackberry Smoke.
God, that would be. I would never see you guys again. Like, sorry guys, nah. I'd call you. I'd call you from the road. I'd call Derek. But when we played did you get to play one of the ones at the Gibson Garage?
I held it for a
You
minute.
held it.
Yeah. It felt good. I mean, they looked good.
Hello, Tony. I thought they were fantastic. So
yeah.
I was a little disappointed to see the whole gear page thread talking about this one. Now, this dude says that this was from Z Sounds, multiple Z's, ZZ's, however you want to say it. But
should I let them in on the secret about the Z sounds?
no, don't
I
do
shouldn't?
it. Yeah, sure you should.
I'm pretty sure, just from my knowledge and the things that I've bought from there, all the stuff that they do is, I wouldn't call it B stock, but it's definitely like open box kind of priority stuff. From what I've seen, and it may not be everything, but I know like I ordered a keyboard from them at one point forever ago. There's another place in New York that does something similar. I can't remember what they're called. Yeah.
Like Gretchen's and stuff.
Yeah, but that's primarily what it is. So that could be the deal with
Well,
that.
they're sort of famous for their financing, right? Like that's what they do it for like 8 million years now. But in the background check.
For a 30-year mortgage, you can have the new
you can have
Charlie
a new-
Star.
The dude on here swears up and down that it was like, never opened. But I mean, there's ways to reseal things. I don't know. It's hard. It's a little bit hard for me to believe that one came from the factory like that. Even when I was at Gibson, as bad as things were, I don't think that would have ever left.
You still had
the
some
factory.
standards.
There were standards, and they were so crazy about like those little dings like that they show on that guitar and that thread if you could look at it. In fact, I always thought, man, a ding won't hurt it, but you should kind of make sure like the pickups work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just hard for me to believe that's that. So, I don't know. We'll see.
It's
We'll
weird.
see. And it'll be interesting to see if other people are happy. Because what I've seen on Instagram and stuff is that people seem to be happy with their Charlie Star.
Well, I was going to
cheers.
say, my take would be from that, maybe the place they got it from more so than Gibson. Because I think their QC is very, what's the word I'm looking for? Authoritarian? Fascist-like. Like
God.
they draw the line and they're like, this is it. At
Gibson.
At Gibson, I think they're very strict about their QC right now, which some of you may disagree with.
Because I think they know that
Yeah.
people kind of talk shit about it, right?
Yeah.
So I think they got to go even a little above and beyond. And I will tell you, and again, I don't want to come across as like, oh, you guys just love Gibson. Oh, wait a minute. John, don't see your shirt on the website. I only see a hat. Yeah, man, this shirt we did a special run. I don't think we've had
That
these
was
in a
like
long time.
4 years ago.
It was a long time ago. In fact, I should probably, it's pretty nasty.
Isn't that
impression.
weird that
But,
we've been, it's crazy.
It is crazy.
I remember Taylor designing that shirt. That's nuts.
But if you shoot us an email, we'll if you want a shirt and you don't see the shirts on the website, we can hook you up. Now my brain.
The
is,
audacity.
The audacity.
I'm sorry, I read that and that got me. I was like, oh, that's hilarious. The audacity. That's great, Cody. What did you say? How did you approach that? Were you like, hey, did you throw something? Did you break the crib? That would have been funny if you just picked up the crib
Darn
and
those
tossed
babies,
it.
those interlopers coming in.
You're not an in-law, you're an outlaw. Out of my house.
I don't know. I lost my Gibson train of thought, so whatever. Soylent
It's okay.
Green is Gibson. There you go. Anyways.
I don't know. This
Here's
thing's
what I was going to say. I said I don't want to come across as being like a Gibson, like, oh, they're just defending Gibson.
Same, yeah.
Because again, we were a little downtrodden that there was another
Yeah.
dealer in North Carolina opened up and it wasn't us. But
And I hope you guys will go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say every single company, I don't care which company it is, they have duds that go out. We see them, and it's rare, but
Yeah. Well,
happens.
and
It's
I
not like
think-
Gibson's the only offender.
I think too, and maybe this is a case in point to bring up with all this, is like, how long are we gonna live in a way where we just assume that any of these manufacturers are never gonna make a mistake? Like, there's never gonna be a bad guitar. It's like just absolute perfection every time. If they did that, it would get back to kind of the horror stories of like, well, they took all these guitars and they throw them in a wood chipper. You know? It's like, some of these things we got to understand they're going to happen. That's a part
Well,
of it.
but
That
you-
sounds terrible, I know, but
You've
hear me
talked
out.
about this, and you maybe even go a step farther with this than I do. Guitars just are not perfect.
they're not. Yeah.
And some of the handmade ones are like
Yeah.
the least perfect in a good way, right? And like there is some give and take there, right? Because sometimes people will say, my Epiphone or my, insert any brand made overseas,
Yeah.
on a, they're just. I mean, sometimes those are perfect because they're made really cheaply, like on a, you know what I mean, like exactly the same way. There is
Yeah.
no sort of hand-made process involved for the most part.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, that's like talking to, man, like with what you were talking, I might have just lost my point there.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, because it was right in that same vein. The not perfect thing, yeah. Gabriel at Echo Park, he and I were talking on guitars one night while we were setting some stuff up. And I was talking to him about necks and stuff like that, and we were having one guitar in particular that was giving us trouble and stuff. And he took the neck and he looked at me and said, "It's a bad piece of wood. Set it to the side." And I was like, "Whoa, what?" And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, that it happens. He's like, it's wood. It's going to move. It's not perfect. That's what it is. It's how it functions, And his viewpoint on that stuff really changed my mind on a lot of things where I was like, oh, yeah, it's like we expect this thing to bend to the will of what we are doing and bend to the will of what our minds demand. And then at the end of the day, we forget it's still a living thing to some degree, or was at least, right? And the wood will continue to move, So, yeah, I think people should give a little bit of grace with some of this stuff. That's all I'm saying.
There's some of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good morning, Mark, to you as well. Andrew makes a great point. He says, great guitars different for each person. Tom says, if the postal service messed up 1% of their daily deliveries, they'd still lose millions of pieces of mail per day. Nobody's perfect. Which, so all sort of good points. Let's see what Mayor McGee says. Every time you make a dish, it's a little different. Yeah, I mean, that's,
What's cool about what I love about our community is a lot of you guys are the sensible guys. You don't lose your minds and blow your top about something as small as, I don't even know where to begin. You know what I mean? Like you would play a guitar hopefully before you said, "Oh my God, it's ruined because there's this little bitty ding on the side."
Well, and like the one in the thread we're talking about on the gear page.
Oh, there was a lot
beyond,
of
right? It was
yes,
a lot
of things.
You know?
Yes, and that's something. If they did say it was new, I would send it back to them. If I played the guitar and I was like, "Man, this is effed up."
The dude didn't want to send it back. I think the conundrum in this one is that they're so limited. There's no replacing it, right?
Yeah.
So like it's kind of like, oh, well, what do you do? So what are you gonna do?
Well, what was odd was
Decam.
Yes, baby.
I'm here,
And
and
the
I got a
D-mic.
microphone, so hopefully, what was odd was that you had not only fret damage to the fretboard, you had some damage to the case, you had damage to the top of the guitar.
That screw was out
from the
floating
screw
around.
rolling around. So,
I-
there was a
yeah.
lot of things that.
Yeah, that would be
You know.
hard for me to believe that Gibson sent it out that way as well.
Me
Especially
too,
it being a
man.
limited run. I think something must have happened to that guitar outside of that stuff because that's a lot of damage and a lot of weird stuff happening for it to just be like, oh no, it's brand new. We didn't even open the box. It's like,
that
okay,
guitar could have been passed around for some demos.
demo stuff, all kinds of things.
You just don't know, right? You just don't know. And I mean, we have seen how much guitars get beat up when they're in these reps, their demo accounts. You know what I mean? Like they get. You would think, no, it's fine, but whew, sometimes not. But sometimes, man, they get destroyed.
All right, guys.
So,
I'm ready.
I need some help, and I need some help from the our wonderful casino crew out there. So I'm gonna be selling the Z,
Oh,
my
This is
Z4. So I've got a
His car.
Z4 that I've been driving around as a little fun car. I'm going to sell that, and I'm putting that money into a vintage guitar.
No.
So,
Yes.
are we going to go vintage Jaguar or early 70s Les Paul Gold Top? What do we think is going to be the better investment as far as a guitar, a vintage guitar? One's obviously more vintage than the other. But what one do we think, and you can comment, is going to be the better guitar to hold for, let's say, 10 years from now?
And is that the main criteria? Is a guitar that's gonna like go up in value?
Yeah, or hold its value or be desirable.
Yeah.
Obviously, the last 5 years, there's been a run on offset guitars.
Yep. I think we're going to see, this is just my hypothesis, and everybody in the thing is gold top all day. Well, there's a lot of Jags in there too. I was going to say, I think the Les Pauls are going to continue to rise because we haven't seen those really peak off yet. I think the offsets are going to flatten out. I think we've seen this big rise in those.
I kind of think that too.
I would go gold top personally, but I'm also like in lust for something like that anyways myself. Maybe not like a gold top one, but definitely like seeing Baxter's Deluxe and stuff. I'm like, man, that'd be kind of cool to have something like that. And I think they're just killer guitars if you find the right one.
Alex Holden says, "Don't we know better?" We like to hope that we know, but these kind of things, right? It's all so much of it is speculation, right? Like I have theories.
Exactly.
Like in my brain, the offset stuff is kind of cooling off a bit because we saw them have that spike where they were like attainable, less attainable, back to sort of attainable again. I kind of think people are excited about 70s stuff at the moment. So the hard part is 10 years, right? Hard to say. 5 years, I think the 70s gold top is the way. But it's hard to say over the long haul.
I think really, because the 70s hit 50 years, right? That's the length of time between 1970 to 2020, right? So that I feel like things start to change when you see numbers like that. Whenever things enter that realm of like, oh, and even 80s stuff, I feel like we're starting to see this weird thing happen with weird 80s stuff where the value's just picking up, and it's like, okay, 40 years ago, you know, that seems like one of those things for a guitar in particular or an amp. It's like, oh. Man.
Dude, I can remember when we hit 25 years on from the 80s and people were like, it's an antique, you know what I mean? I was like, the 80s stuff will never be worth anything. Yeah. And now, and I got to tell you, after doing that ridiculous hot dogger demo the other day.
He wants a hot dog.
Well, kind of. But there's a little part of my brain that says, ooh, a Floyd Rose would be so much fun. I'm not going to give into it. But there was part of me that thinks, man,
yeah,
that was the thing.
I mean, I wouldn't blame you. Mucky Muck,
Have
man.
fun, Tom. Tell
Look
the
at
folks
that.
at Harry's we said hello.
Darren, your guitar is on the way today, and I did some expedited shipping. Shh, don't tell anybody. You're gonna have it this week, though. I know you're located on the other side of things, but I wanted to get out this week. I didn't want to send the depot on the weekend, so I did that, and it's gonna be there soon. Get excited. And then your video should come out in the next week as well. We saved it to drop, hopefully as you're getting the guitar, roughly. It'll be cool. I wanted you to see the guitar before, you know.
Which one's his?
Oh, the Levi Perry, the triple paint over that we did in the video with Baxter. Yeah, that'll
I've
come
got
out.
a demo video for that.
Yeah.
Once he gets it, we'll put the video out.
Heck yeah, baby.
Okay, now here's an interesting question. And a lot of people have said similar, but Eric phrased it really good. He said, are they really excited about 70s stuff, or is it just because the 50, 60 stuff is too expensive? A lot of 70s stuff was built like crap. Well, I'm going to say yes. So yeah, the 50, 60 stuff is absolutely sort of out of the realm of normal people buying. Here's the thing you got to remember, though. People weren't excited about the 50s or 60s stuff at one point either. Like, you read all these stories in the 80s about people getting those guitars for nothing. And that was true of some of the Les Paul Burst stuff too, right? Like there were times when people were getting rid of those because they were like, oh, these are old-fashioned guitars. So I just think it's coming around. Now, I kind of agree that the 70s stuff is not built nearly as well. Now, I've played good examples of 70s guitars. In fact, I have one, and Derek's got a few too. But yeah, I don't think on the whole it's as good as the 50s and 60s stuff. But I just think it just kind of it's like a trend. It just
Yeah.
goes around.
Well-
and the 50s and 60s stuff has the advantage of it was like the first stuff,
Yes.
right? Like it's in the. I
You
mean,
can't
we'll
be
never
the first
really.
again. Yeah.
You could argue that even the custom shop stuff now, in some cases, is built better than that 50s and 60s stuff.
Well, it goes back to the Old Testament of they're trying to build it now.
They're trying to
They're
build it
trying
now,
to build
right?
it. Back then, they were just doing. They were like, get them out.
I've played some. There's some custom shop 70s stuff that's phenomenal, and it's probably better than anything that was built in the actual 70s. Probably, you know what I mean?
Well,
I mean, it's hard to like speak that broadly and generalize. But
and with that too, let's talk about like the magic of music, the magic of guitar, right? There is something in the world that I would just refer to as mojo, right? You play something that just gives you mojo.
well, I play that 70s Tele Deluxe at home so much, and it's starting to play better and better and better. And I've gotten my brain that it's getting to the point where I'm going to want to gig it more, right? It's just, and I don't know how much of that is psychological, how much of it is me just playing it. I've said this a million times. You can say I'm crazy, but I'm a firm believer that if you play guitars, you have them in your house, they get better. I know that sounds ridiculous, but sometimes they just got to settle into themselves a bit, especially if they've been sitting for a long time. But the thing that I love about that is it like the greatest built guitar ever? No, but someone played that guitar for decades. They went out and played it.
That was their guitar.
And there's like a story around it, right? And it's just cool. And I like to sit and imagine, where was this guitar? Like, where did it go?
Sure.
Who did it play in front of? Like what venues? Like I just think that's really, really freaking cool. And now it's come to me, and
Yes.
there's just something really special about that.
It's the magic.
I don't think how well they're built or designed has much at all to do with
That's
the
right.
value or people wanting them necessarily.
Well, it's like
Otherwise,
yeah.
we wouldn't want Les Pauls that the headstocks break all that.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay.
Well, there's
we just want-
all that, right? And then let's take it to something more modern day, right? My first Strat, which is this piece of garbage, blue, like it was worse than a stag.
It really is a piece of garbage. But
I've sanded the neck down. I've hit all the fret edges. I did a bunch of
Yeah.
work to it. I put a pedal in it at one point. I've done all this garbage to it, right? But I still love that guitar. Whenever I pick it up, especially at times where I feel stuck, right? And stuck in many different ways. Stuck mentally, stuck in life, stuck with guitar playing, stuck with music. I can
Stuck
pick
with me.
that, stuck with Jonathan. I can pick that guitar up and I can play it and something happens. And it's like it forces me to change over, right? And that's like, I've got a custom shop Strat. I've got a really cool vintage SG. Got awesome stuff, but I can pick up this $120 guitar that I talked the guy down to $100 on because that's all I had and beat the hell out of it. I can pick that up and something happens. I think that's what we find in a lot of this stuff. And that's like, it's a part of what drives the price is the mystique and the mojo and the mystery and what it drives out of you, right? Because you pull something from that. It's like buying a birth year guitar. You feel tied to an instrument, and that's a part of this. That's just a part of what we live in, and it's okay to admit it. It's like corny and cheesy and weird, but also it's like, it's what it is. I want to believe in the magic of life,
well, I've got that little Magnetone amp that
Mike Campbell owned.
Well, that one, not even that one. That's cool because it's like one of my idols on that
Well,
amp.
I was going to say, I remember you, and I'll tell the story, and then, obviously tell the Starlight story as well, right? You got that amp, and whenever it came in, you were stoked, and you brought it in here, and we were sitting in your little teaching studio, and we plugged it up and stuff like that, and you went to go play the first chord, and you played Running Down a Dream on, and you're like, oh my God, is that it? And it was like, it's a moment of like, oh, there's some magic in that amp.
It's just fun. Right?
But go on with the Starlight story as well. That, to me, was one of those moments where it's like, and you light up, and you're excited for a moment. You're like,
I was
that's
super
it.
pumped about that. Well, we got that from my friend when we were at the Gibson Garage not long ago. And is it the greatest sounding little amp? No. In fact, Jason's Starlight that is owned by Mike Ness is over here. And I think, Jason, has that amp been modded? Because it is like so much dirtier. The other one's super cool. But I just think, man, this was made in the 50s. Like, who's on this thing? Who's played through it? Who learned to play on it? There's just something really
That's
fun
right.
about it,
Absolutely.
And it's just a little, probably worth $500, $600, $400. A student model amp essentially. So
Well,
it's still just fun.
in part with all of that, to get back to Derek's question too, I would say gold top. That's my vote. And I'm an offset guy. You know that. Like, I'm a Fender dude. I would buy the Fender all day, but I think you go gold top because that's a Derek thing. You know what I mean? And that to me also what the car is and what all that stuff means. That to me all makes sense.
Well, that's part of it, right? Like the gold top to me fits Derek better too. But
Well, here's the thing. The gold top, the one that I want is a 69 gold top. Because that's the last year before they did the pancake body.
yep.
Yeah.
Right? So, that's going to be in the like
Chief.
$10,000 range.
Yeah.
So, it's a little bit, whereas I can get, a good 64 Jaguar
Yeah.
with maybe original sunburst finish for like $6,000. Custom color is at like $8,000.
Yeah.
So the Les Paul, that would certainly be
Yeah.
a bit tipping the scale, but
Well-
You just need this, Derek.
Oh, wait until you play it. Then you'll be like, never mind.
yeah,
I love this
I did
guitar.
play that one,
Oh,
and
God.
I was not as.
I need to like just do a hardcore setup on it.
It definitely needs a
It's
setup.
it's just rough, man. It's always been rough.
This one is like, it is as clean as any vintage guitar, like ever.
Well,
And that goes to saying the cleanest guitars were
Are-
not played.
No,
and there's a
exactly.
reason they weren't played.
I was gonna say
Listen to that buzz.
there's a lot of truth in that, and the more that we've gone to these vintage guitar shows or been out and play vintage stuff, I'd find that to be the truth. Is that, man, if it's clean, if it's unscathed, it probably wasn't good. All of the ones that I've played that were unscathed.
I'm gonna go back to my zany theory. Is it just they're not as good because they weren't played? I think the ones that get played become better.
Well,
in some, what I mean?
definitely. Like if we took this, and here's in part, here's the struggle, right? This guitar. What if I took it and I said I can make it play better, but I'm gonna have to do some
I said,
crazy
Sean,
stuff to it.
Sean is a Jaguar. What do you mean play better? It's not gonna play
If
better.
I took it and I said we're gonna make it play great, but I'm gonna have to do some stuff that is definitely gonna devalue that guitar. Do you do it? Or do you leave it original and you say no, it's a clean Jag?
It depends on your
Your ethos,
use for it,
right?
right?
Yeah.
And I kind of like old Jobo's ethos on that stuff, because he, like, if a guitar comes to him a certain way, he leaves it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it's got weird stuff,
If it's
he's
clean,
not putting it back.
he
If
keeps it
if it's
clean.
clean. Bob Whiting says the buzz can very much be good, but this is a lot of buzz.
Yeah. Hold it up to your mic so they can get the full effect.
Oh,
Oh,
of course, it's not gonna do it now.
stops. That is not bridge buzz, folks. That is nut to
Well,
fret to
and
bridge.
on the Jaguars, you can get those buzz top things.
Yeah.
But because oddly enough, you guys are not gonna believe this.
Here, I'm gonna do this too. This helps.
I played a Jaguar for a long time, just because I had one, and it was always, that might be what it was,
I
man.
told you, yeah. I was gonna say that's a bigger issue.
Actually, didn't play bad right now. I mean, it is a thin little neck, but yeah, I always felt like my Jaguar that I had was I was constantly compromising. Like, if I wanted to be able to play up here, I had to you know what I mean? It was just it's just the scale length. It's just the 24-inch scale length.
But if you bend that wood, baby.
It's not for
Do a
it's
little
not
bit-
for shredding up down low, or up high rather.
Listen, if y'all saw how I manhandle my guitars to get them to play the way that they play, you'd be like, oh my God.
Never leave a guitar here again.
I've like grabbed
God.
the neck of my guitar, I've done some good bending on it just to get it
But
to
no.
act right, you know? You gotta do some of those things
You gotta
sometimes.
do some of those things.
I don't do it to other people's stuff when I set them up. I'm very much so respectful, but my stuff
Lies.
I do.
Lies. It used to drive me insane if I had a guitar that, like, something wasn't like if I knew there was a dead spot or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You'd
And
be like,
I've kind of finally come to realize that, like, and we talked about that with what's his name, Fort Thurston, and
yeah.
you know,
Wherever it's just like
at
these dead
Carter's.
spots.
well, he was saying you don't even think about it in a gig, you just play. But if you're home, like, you'll lay in bed and think about it, you know. And I think, I don't know, there's something to that. I think every one of my electric guitars right now has some little minute thing.
Something.
But I've gotten to where I don't care. It's just part of the character of that guitar.
Yeah, well, and it's like we've talked about. I know, like the 14th or 16th fret on your 335 has an issue on the B and E string, right? Or one of those.
If you're in the key of B major and you want to bend on the B string at the 14th fret, which is up to the 3rd, you can forget about it. Oh, it actually is not horrible through the amp, but it's like dead acoustically, and it makes me whew.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
just stay away from it.
And there's certain things too. I think we both know. Like there's a fear of changing a guitar for fear of what it might do.
Because
like changing
everything
the
else
frets.
makes it amazing right now. You know?
Your red sparkle telly was like that, where it was
The frets, man. I think I'm over my fret fear.
Yeah.
I think I'm like burn them, change them.
Well, it's kind of like it's real funny. Somebody asked Tom Bukovac that in one of his videos I watched recently, and he said they asked him, "Hey Tom, how many times do you change your frets?" And he was like, "Once." Like what do you mean? Depending on the wear and tear, but also being okay to say like the guitar has to play, has to work.
Yeah.
And whatever you got to do to make that happen, I think you should do it. And
I agree with that. Thank you, Mayor McCheese. Mayor
That's right.
McCheese says he would love my frets.
Yeah, he would.
And I appreciate
Yeah, he would.
Yes,
Yeah. So, with that in mind, though, I hope as the guitar community as a whole, not just you great, wonderful people who are great and wonderful, I hope that we can get to the place where we say, "Oh, it's been refretted. Thank you. Oh my gosh." That doesn't. It doesn't
That's
mean
what I would say.
Time to get you down.
Now, wasn't it
whatchamacallit, the one Red Eye refretted?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There you go.
I
Red
would-
Eye was
And
refretted.
to me, it's even trickier on the Gibson, right? With the freaking the
binding.
binding. But
horrifying, right?
I'm to that point though where I want all my. If I could like snap my finger, if money was no issue, and I could snap my
all of them.
fingers, and like they'd all be worn down to where I could just replace everything with stainless steel and never worry about it again. Because it's so good on my telly, so good on the Telly Deluxe, and I'm just like, man.
Well, I think
But I'm a serial. I have a problem with fret polishing. You are too.
Yeah.
I just would like to keep mine like super.
I know. I like them
ridiculously
to.
shiny.
I like them to reflect.
God, if I can't see myself in those frets, it's wrong.
But if you're like, I would argue, you talk to any pro who's playing a vintage guitar on stage, I would argue for a fact, it's been refretted.
What if it's somebody like Baxter?
Leave it.
Frets? It doesn't need frets. It's fine.
Well, Baxter's different.
Intonation?
Baxter is the king of, he doesn't care. He will pick up any guitar and he will play the hell out of it. He does not care. I swear to God, he's picked up guitars that I know for a fact, like trying to play them is a pain, and he'll just rip.
How much of that do you think is in your brain, right? Because like I know dudes like that who just do it, and then, you just get in your brain. They're like, oh, I can't play this. I can't play this. I can't play. You know what I mean? So.
Well, I've watched him play guitars out of tune.
That's what I'm saying.
And like
they're
he's
fun.
just that in control
And he just
of
makes
his.
it in tune.
Yeah, he's that in control of his, obviously of his
He's a
left hand,
wizard.
but his mental thing with that too, which is really cool to see. I think we should all aspire to be as carefree.
Oh, Bob, yeah, I can't handle grody frets.
Oh yeah, no.
They got to glide. The strings have to glide over
Well,
that fret.
the moment that you bend a fret and you know that
And you hear
the
that scratch.
it stands the hair up on my neck. I'm like, oh, the feeling.
But I can remember the moment. Well, I can't really remember the moment, but I know that there was a time in my life where I didn't ever think about that. And then it's like one day I realized, oh, you can polish your frets and never have that weird frictiony thing. Weird. And then I was just, I can't undo it. You know what I mean?
No. The moment that I feel that on a guitar, I like cringe. I'm like, ugh. It's like that sound of cardboard. Being
all right.
cut or something.
Let's talk about. Okay, Mayor McCheese has a hot take. Lots of frets could be dressed and not replaced, but people like comically big frets. There's some truth to that. Like I had my frets dressed and stuff on that telly for like 12 years before I replaced them. You know what I mean? Like, and I got to the point where there was no material left. But I think it just depends on your playing style a little bit. But there's some truth to that. You know what I mean? Like, and I do like I like comically big frets.
I like big frets too.
But
I think
know.
a lot of people would like larger frets if they just gave them a chance.
Well, part of what I like is I know that I can get more life out of them because as I lose material,
Yeah.
they're taller.
I wish I had my guitar here just to show you. I feel like mine are larger, but they're not big. I think I got medium jumbos.
I think I got
love.
jumbos on one, and then medium jumbos on the red telly, and then I think I can't remember if they're narrow, tall, or medium jumbos on my Strat. And the Gibson is like jumbos, but
The fret wire on mine is actually Jesscar. It's the whatever, like 47095 or something like that. I can't remember exactly which one, but it's like in that medium jumbo world like that. Sorry, it just made me think about
I like medium jumbos, and the funny thing about like, there's really we're talking crazy small measurements between like jumbos and medium jumbo.
I mean, they're not going to be like this.
And narrow, tall, and like all that stuff.
It's not like a sheath on top of your guitar, It's like, it's just little rails, anyways.
What are you gonna do?
Yep. I don't know, man. I don't know. What else has been in the news? You got any other hot takes? Let's see.
No.
What hot takes does Johnny have?
I did. I survived another national anthem performance over the weekend.
Some people did not. Some people did not fare so well.
I was gonna say there was a rough one at the All-Star game, and I didn't even listen to it. I just saw someone post, "Have you ever heard the national anthem in cursive?" And I knew, oh man. And then I listened to literally like 3 seconds, and it was like, whoa. But I will listen to it after this. I just haven't listened to it yet. But so apparently, that was rough. You listened to the whole thing, right?
I listened to the whole thing.
It looked painful on the poor girl's face. I have so much sympathy because I know I don't really get nervous to play in front of people very much anymore, but I get nervous about doing that because I feel like there's a lot of pressure.
I think it's okay if we just played the national anthem and people didn't sing it. I think that's okay. I think the guitar thing's fine because, like, if you do it, if you're not, obviously Robbie Krieger.
I got one good squeal in there.
Whee!
It was great. It was just right. And I was afraid. I at that point I smiled. I was like, okay, I got it. Relax. But so that was good. What do you guys think? Have you ever had to play the national anthem in front of people? And were you nervous? And did it go okay? Because there's some really bad ones from some really good players / singers.
Robbie Krieger, baby.
Robbie Krieger. Whew. I think the old age might have caught up with him at that one. I don't know if.
Here's the issue with her national anthem, right? She did
too much stuff.
Well, I think she was trying to think more like an artist and less like hey, I need to. Because we talked about this. It's like, I think you do it how it is. Because any changes that you make aren't good. It's an iconic melody.
Everyone knows it, right?
Everyone knows it. No one's gonna it's like singing Happy Birthday. You don't improvise on Happy Birthday. You just
Happy Birthday.
Happy Birthday.
You and I, like, if you're Hendrix at Woodstock, right, and it's not like you do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But if you're
that's different,
at
right?
an event where it's like,
Yes.
oh, it is the national anthem, then that's how I felt, right? This was at the Rockingham Speedway. They're doing a lot of stuff and trying to get NASCAR back and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so they had a big open house, and I got to go play it. And there's the guys with the flags, the little honor guard, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is serious. So I want to add little things, but I want it to be pretty faithful.
Well, and you're at
solid,
You're at an event where they asked you to do that, right? No one asked Jimi Hendrix that Sunday morning, "Hey man, you mind playing the national anthem?" Like,
just to start us off.
He went out there and did it. It was his show too, And I say his show. You know what I mean, though. It was his show. Like, he's there playing his show. If you're at one of your shows, and it's some crazy 4th of July throwdown, and all these crazy, pothead, drunk, hippie, redneck people are out there having the time of their life, and you pull that out, and you're killing it that night, hell yeah, you should go nuts. Break out the wah pedal, go crazy.
Start tapping the blame bar. Do it.
Amazing. Or you improvise it and you add in a whole nother verse if you want. But if you're at a soccer game or a football game, or I guess those are the same thing, right? A baseball game, whatever. Don't. Just don't. It's fine.
Ed said Robbie Krieger was just doing a cover of Jack White's version, which is also really kind of funny. There's some crazy, there's some wild. Even we watched Mike Campbell's version the other day with Steve Veroni doing the cymbals, and it was fine, but like it wasn't.
I don't know if we
one.
needed the cymbals.
I don't know if we need the cymbals, and I love Steve Veroni.
What else is funny too is who is it? Oh, Flea's bass. version.
Yep.
If you haven't seen that, go check that out. But like I said, that's whenever maybe I'm an asshole for telling people how they should play the national anthem.
You're an asshole.
It's
for
just
sure.
my opinion,
Listen,
Flea can do whatever he wants to be like, fuck you, man.
Wearing only a sock.
Thank you.
Andy says, have you ever forgotten what you were playing during a song? Yes, I have. Have you ever done that? I'm assuming you mean on the gig. Yes, I have. I've been in the middle of a song and just be like, oh my God. We're like your brain just goes blank. I found the key to those things, whether it's singing lyrics or playing, is to keep your brain blank. When you start to think about it,
Yes.
like you just got to let yourself go on the autopilot, assuming that you actually do know the songs. But
I've forgotten a part, but I feel like the way that you got out of that was you just let your hands do what they were going to do anyways. And for me, that's what I've done. We had this one weird part in the song that went to a whole different key, and I remember the night that it happened, I was like, what chord does it go to? What chord does it get, right before? And then I just went...
Well, and even though that's the thing on the national anthem, it's remember, oh crap, when it goes to the second section, where does this, is it the B string or is it the G string? Oh my God. Well, you maybe can't recall that, right? But you just have to trust, I've done this 1,000 times. I've done it 50 times in a row without screwing it up. Go and do it. When I first started playing downtown Nashville gigs, right? I would be kind of nervous to not screw those songs up because I was just new and I just, you know what I mean? It was just undue pressure to put on myself, really honestly. But the hard thing, right, is all those songs were 6-4-1-5. They were all the same chord progression, The friggin' they were basically the same key, they were within a whole step of each other. They were either G to B flat. Well, and so they'd start, they'd all have the same groove, they're all mid tempo, right? And it's just oh God, which one are we doing? And which key is this one? God, is it B flat or is it A? And but yeah, you just eventually stop thinking and you don't. But I have absolutely forgotten what I was playing in the middle of a song. So yeah,
happens to the best of us, I feel.
Did Josh Klinghoffer kill a guy?
Yes, he did. Josh Klinghoffer, if you didn't know the news, ran over a man in his SUV.
Damn.
And he was on his phone texting when he did it.
Oh man.
So it's pretty rough stuff. He's facing manslaughter charges.
That's 2 people he's killed now, right?
2.
River Phoenix.
No. That's John Frusciante.
Oh, Frusciante.
It's about to get dark, folks. We're getting dark.
River Phoenix.
We're about to get dark.
Okay.
But you know what? We'll give that to Klinghoffer too.
We'll give it to Klinghoffer.
I went down a whole Jeff Buckley.
Klinghoffer. No, that's dark.
This weekend, so all dark things.
Obviously, very sad. Hate to see somebody pass away in such a way that it could have been avoided. The thing is whether or not it was Josh Klinghoffer or not, it shouldn't happen. So don't text and drive, and don't feel like you're above the law. I don't think Josh Klinghoffer felt that way. I'm sure he probably feels terrible right now, unless he's just a horrible human being and life is actually like The Boys, where all these famous people are kind of like superheroes, and they just have no sympathy for doing these god-awful things. I don't think that's the case. I like to believe that, there's a moral compass there for all these people.
To some degree. I'm sure there are people out there who are just friggin' monsters and don't care. But yeah, I think most people, I'm sure that dude's having a horrible time of it.
Frusciante killed the guy from Weezer. Ned, do you not know who River Phoenix is? And then
it's fine. They're all the same. They're all the same. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I like Ned's version better.
He killed the guy from Weezer.
It ain't so. Whoa.
He did stop and call 911, I think.
That is,
Great point.
That's a good thing to me. That's a good thing to me.
What would have been bad is if he would have pulled an A train and just
kept on. God.
I can't stop.
You forget that your A train is almost becoming likable again. So you forget that
Dude,
the whole thing started with him.
You want me to tell
just murdering a lady and not caring?
Here's my hypothesis.
The Boys.
You watched the new season? Well, okay. Here's my hypothesis on The Boys. No spoiler alerts here, really, but I think A Train is going to die in the next episode.
I bet he dies. I think
he's gonna die. It sucks because I'm you finally, he's getting likable.
No, but okay. The thing about it, right? His only redemption arc really
is to
die
sacrifice
for the cause. Himself.
Yeah.
That's right. And so I almost think maybe he won't because that's predictable, and I feel like this is one of those shows, kind of like Game of Thrones, where
Where
they
they
try to
play
be
on that?
unpredictable. So maybe not, but I was thinking the same thing.
Do you get into this as deep as I do with stuff like this, right? Do you know the comic book lore that is supposed to happen?
Some of it, I don't. With A Train.
Well, so A Train is completely different in the comic books, right?
A lot of it. So it was like
Yes.
Black Noir and all that stuff.
That's
you know?
right.
So it's like okay.
Well, so they've changed a lot of those things. The way the comic book goes is that Butcher is supposed to kill everybody and all the soups. And that's how it ends.
But you're like off the freaking deep end.
Oh, I mean,
You called
yeah.
that, by the way. That
You
didn't
like
be a
that?
fake.
Yeah.
I said the more you said it, I went back and watched a couple things.
You're
And I was
like,
like, wait, he never did actually
Yeah.
speak to the guy.
Never
You're
spoke
like, wow.
to anyone, yeah.
Because they made it really. You had to really be paying
Oh,
attention
yeah.
to catch
Well,
that.
because he was always
Um,
off to the side a good bit, so you were like, oh, I'm sure he's there, because he was never in the same room
And then
as
I watched
other
that
characters.
next episode. I was like,
Yeah.
dang it, Sean.
And then, that's a whole thing in itself, man. How do you think this tumor thing's going to wrap out? Like, I feel like Butcher kind of has to die. Like, he
Butcher
will
has to
die.
He has to die.
Which sucks, because
What's
he's
gonna
my
happen
favorite.
is Ryan gonna go? Okay, this aren't spoilers. We're just
hypothesizing.
seeing. So how's Ryan gonna go? Is he gonna become the savior? Is he gonna go down the bad road? I feel like he's in a good place right now.
Well,
but
per the comic book.
I don't know what happens in the comic book.
Well, per the comic book, you know about Black Noir and the whole thing with that, right?
clone
without,
thing, yep.
Without spoiling anything for you guys. And it really wouldn't. There's a whole cloning thing. I think that's the route they're going to go with Ryan.
Just in case anybody cares.
Oh, they all care. Eric, I haven't read the book, or Ned, I haven't read the book, so I don't know. But Baxter and Derek both watch House of the Dragon. So,
House of the Dragon, yeah.
did you watch the last episode?
I did.
Eric felt it was kind of boring.
Well,
What if I told you the whole series is boring? Go ahead. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Give him the heat.
No,
you guys say?
the last episode was sort of. There was a really big arc in the previous episode.
Yeah.
So you can't go back to back
Yeah.
serious heavy duty episodes. So
Yeah.
That's fair.
here I
That's
am
fair.
getting nerdy on the live stream as people are dropping out. Our numbers are dropping, boys.
Oh, are they dropping?
They're
People
dropping.
tuning out? You guys don't like the boys? Okay. Smoke break for those not watching this season.
We can only deep dive Gibson for so long. No, I don't know. And
Damn it.
Derek's vintage purchase. Hello,
That's
Todd.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought that
I
stood
don't
for
know.
hat of the day.
It was a fashion blog.
I think. Oh, were you
I
asking?
should start wearing ridiculous hats every live
I guess
stream.
he's saying, is the comic book better? I don't know. I want to read it though. But anyways.
I kind of want to read it. And if you haven't read, and the one you need to get into is Invincible.
Oh yeah, that's a good show.
Dude.
Gen V's good too. I watched that.
I haven't watched it, no.
You go watch it.
watch
It builds. It gets good.
All right,
Yeah,
Jonathan.
yeah,
So I got to tell you, in the weekly update on my son's guitar playing.
Mighty Woodrow. Okay, I'm ready.
So last night, Logan's been playing his little Taylor GS Mini acoustic.
And it's been, just for you that haven't been keeping up, he got really ramped up because his love interest,
His girlfriend.
she actually girlfriend, she was like, oh, I love guitar players. So
That's true.
he's really super
Yeah.
into it. Yeah.
So he's been playing his little GS Mini, and he's having some buyer's remorse because it's hurting his fingers.
Oh, the
All right,
Jasmine
which is
okay.
which
Yeah, the whole car is okay.
an 11-year-old
happen.
playing
Yeah.
guitar, almost 12-year-old, it's going to happen, right? So last night, the deal is we practice every night for like 15 minutes before bedtime. We go into a little jam room. I'm on the electric. He's on his acoustic. He plays all the stuff he's got to play on the acoustic guitar, and then I let him switch to the electric, right? Well, now we're getting to the point where I'm busting out guitars he didn't know we owned.
He's getting
And
excited.
now he's getting really,
Yeah.
he's lusting.
He's gonna start
over-
coming down here checking
So
out guitars.
so
Yeah.
so last
Dude,
night,
he might be hooked, man.
so last night I busted out the old 1989 Eric Clapton 7-Up green Stratocaster, and he was like, "Whoa, wait, where'd this come from? Wait, I've never seen this guitar. Where's this thing been hiding?"
Dad, I can't believe you're holding out on me.
Yep. So
This
that
is
was last
good.
night's excitement. As I give everybody the update,
I feel
Oh,
like
goodness.
I
My
feel like he
12-year-old.
might be.
I think he's
when
in.
you start getting gear lust,
Yeah.
you might be. And I can imagine. And this is kind of what I wanted. Like, my son's gotten into drums, beating things, which is good. It's fun to jam with him. But what I kind of wanted was that, like, because I can't imagine, like, if I was a kid and trying to play, and then all of a sudden my dad's got these cool guitars. Like, my brain can't even
The idea,
fathom
because
it.
here's what's cool for all of our kids, right? Whenever I have kids at some point too, if they do get into guitar, which I hope they do, but if they don't, whatever, right? Think about how cool it's going to be for Logan to be able to walk in here and us pop out, a greenie and be like, yeah, man, this is one of our buddies. Play this thing.
And
What?
you just grow up, like,
What? Like, and then once, Mark Agnesi and us finally, officiate the bond and we all are hanging out and Uncle Mark's hanging out. Be
with
like,
Uncle Slash.
with Uncle Slash, exactly. In the dream realm that I'm living in. Whenever
And
we all
Uncle-
meet
Uncle-
up.
Uncle
Well,
Jason.
I'll tell
You
you,
get to see.
it's all fun until actual bedtime, and then I made him watch Eric Clapton videos
Yeah.
and John Mayer videos, and that's when things took a turn for the worse for him because he was not all that interested in watching Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
He was only slightly interested in John Mayer
That's fair.
because it was Taylor Swift's old boyfriend.
Well,
He'll find the thing that makes him interested in that way.
I was going to say, I find, especially teaching lessons,
I mean, because Sean's not that interested in watching Eric Clapton.
hell no, dude. Nobody wants any Eric Clapton. Here's what I'm going to say, okay? As guitar
I am
players,
appalled.
we should all know this. And if you got kids out
Casey,
there,
we're
going
gonna
to
answer your question, by the way.
Yes, we will
Just
come
hold,
back around that.
hold tight.
If you are showing kids stuff, you know what kids light up to? They light up to Jimi Hendrix playing the guitar with his teeth.
Yeah,
And
that's
lighting
true.
stuff on
That's
fire.
true.
Like the rock and roll stuff, you kind of have, like, show them Kiss. And then there'll come a day where Eric Clapton makes sense.
Listen.
And it's like, oh, okay.
He loves Kiss.
That's right.
We were backstage at Kiss. His
That's
first
right.
concert was Kiss in the dressing rooms
Theatrics, right?
with the band, all that stuff.
Has he
So,
watched the collection with Paul Stanley yet? He might. Do
He's
that.
not. He's not
Show
watched
them that
that.
stuff. You gotta, like, I think that's the stuff that drives, that it's gotta be the rock and roll craziness. And then they come around to like, oh, like, you couldn't have showed me, like, I wouldn't have listened to television whenever I was like 18 years old and thought it was cool. I was like, no, Jimi Hendrix is God, dude. Like, he doesn't care what he plays. Like, he's awesome,
Yeah. No,
But you turn
yeah,
around and
I was
you look,
similar.
that's why I didn't like Eric Clapton at first. I was like, man, this guy's a dweeb.
Eric Clapton was a funny thing for me because I started playing guitar and didn't know anything about music. I just fell into it. It was an odd thing, but someone told me like Eric Clapton's the greatest ever, and so I went and found some Clapton. And I was like, I don't know if I get it. But dumb me was like, well, okay, I just kept listening and kept digging and finding things, and then I found Cream, and then I just get it, and I just got more and more into it, and then I was like, okay, yeah, no, Clapton is the best ever. And
Right.
it still stands.
Best ever. You hear? We just got the proof in the pudding, baby. He was like,
'Cause,
boring.
if you find yourself in like strange '80s Clapton, it's like, oh, I don't know. Had enough.
I've never seen a
Bad
man
love.
who talks about cocaine so much, but man, he doesn't look like he does any cocaine.
Oh, he's done his share.
I mean, have you seen David Bowie in the 70s?
Well,
that
that's-
man
that's
looks
true.
like he was doing cocaine. It's like eating.
Clapton in the '70s, man. Okay, let's see. What is it? Casey's Fantastic Voyages wants to know any Epiphones or Squires that we suggest. Absolutely. Eric said the classic vibe. Any of the classic vibes
Any of
are
the classic
freaking awesome. Those are Squires, obviously. And pretty much, man, every Epiphone that we've played that's like the Inspired by Gibson or the Inspired by the Custom Shop.
Yep.
And they're a little pricier, but they're still way less than a Gibson, Those are
Johnny,
fantastic as well.
when I was at Guitar Center, I played the Epiphone J45 banner.
Was it great?
Holy crap.
Dang
It
it.
sounded amazing. It was $12.99. Had a pickup,
Had the right headstock.
Ripping.
right headstock, had the banner logo.
just
I think
says
it's
it
like a
wrong.
1942, but it's an Epiphone.
Maybe that's what
Inspired
Jonathan
by
needs
Gibson.
for his gig guitar.
It sounded
Epiphone,
really damn good.
inspired by Gibson, I think is key. I think that's the key to Epiphone there. Because any of the stuff I've played,
It is.
I've played a handful of those
Other
acoustics,
than the
like
Jared
Derek's
James
saying.
Nichols, those are good.
Those are good.
And those aren't inspired by. Those are earlier, but I think that was kind of like the beginning of like, wow, those are killer Epiphones.
Yep.
But yeah, you're right.
Yeah. In the Fender realm, and you're in luck too, next week you'll probably see a video come out with me and Baxter talking about Jazz Masters, specifically going all the way from the Squire line up and kind of explaining that. So you can get a good deep dive. And that is true for probably all of Fender's guitars. Same thing with Strats and Tellys and everything. If you're looking for something like that.
Listen.
I'm going to show you. This is the guitar here.
Here we go, baby.
While Derek pulls that up.
From our favorite page.
Woo! Now sexy right there. So, I mean, you know, and for a good acoustic, man, that's not...
I mean, they do them right, dude.
And
they
already
feel
probably got a pickup already.
It's got a pickup.
Got the orange label. God. Yeah,
Yeah,
now I
finished.
kind of want that, Derek. Dang it.
Yeah,
Darn
you
you.
do.
My Sweetwater card's about to get a workout. No, not really. That's cool. James White says, Derek and the Dominoes, you, sir, win the prize. Because everyone knows that is peak clap.
It's true. Silverman is right, though. He says he saw Eric Clapton play Tears in Heaven, but as an angsty kid, I was more excited with Kurt Cobain and grunge.
I get that.
It's rock and roll, dude. I mean, you know, there's
They're
something...
so different, right?
Yes.
And Clapton's so not in the rock and roll phase in that period of his life.
Yeah,
And
or
of
ever.
course, his kid just died when he wrote that song. So obviously, it's, you know. But you talk about a huge song, though, that made $1 bazillion.
$1 bazillion. All it took was leaving the door open.
There's a window.
Sorry, a window, even
And
better.
it was the person watching. No, I mean, that was hard. I mean, you know. You say what you
Eric
wanna
was
say.
off
I
being a
think
good parent.
That was a horrible scenario.
It's a terrible scenario.
It was a horrible scenario. And I think that song, man, it's rough. But, anyways. Yeah, I don't know. You laugh over there. You know how I feel about Eric Clapton.
Don't worry, it's
No.
going to be a Kyle Gass, Jack Black situation here in a minute. You laugh, damn it. Back me up.
There's none of that.
Ba-dum.
None of that.
So, Johnny, next week, are we going to be releasing your Walking in Memphis video to your YouTube channel?
I believe we are. Are we going to release it to Casino's channel or just to my channel?
Well, either one. It's up to you, but I think it's getting close. I think we almost got the mix dialed in exactly.
Yeah.
And
Close.
it's going to be awesome. Walking in Memphis. Live from Rouville.
I like that title.
You like that title?
I enjoyed that title.
Okay.
A ton.
So,
U.S.
this brings me back to another sort of interesting thing. I had my wife watch back-to-back episodes of Joe Bonamassa
Nerdville.
live from Nerdville.
Bingo.
And she is now a Joe Bonamassa fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I could convince her to go see a Joe Bonamassa concert. Is this what happens? Is this why there's all these wives at the Joe Bonamassa shows? Because he is just likable enough
I'm sorry, it just
to
sounds
take
like...
the wives with him.
It just sounds like torture to me. I'm like, oh, God, Skylar would
First
hate
off,
me. She'd be like, you brought me to fucking what?
Skylar's
She's gonna
too
hate
young.
the show in every way possible. Probably. And I went to a Joe Bonamassa show not long ago, and I enjoyed it. And I will say, one of the coolest things is his new bass player, because he's got his own little cactus on stage. He's wearing the cowboy hat, and he kind of dances the whole time. Fantastic. But Joe Bonamassa is like his most likable, most like
Yes.
human
Absolutely.
in those Nerdville episodes.
Absolutely.
I wish that documentary that he put out was a little more relaxed like that.
Yeah.
And a little less, whatever it is, like a little contrived, a little like commercially.
What do you mean?
What do you mean, Jonathan?
Well,
But I think like when he's at Nerdville hanging out, right, and they're
Yeah.
talking to him.
he's cool. He's wearing slippers.
Well, and you kind of get the vibe like, okay, this guy just he really loves gear, you know, and he's like,
He loves gear more than he loves women.
what? Listen, I don't think you're that technically good if you're not a little odd, and I don't mean that in a bad way. You're just every super talented person you know, for the most part,
I think
they're eccentric, right?
I absolutely
And I think he's
agree.
eccentric.
I absolutely.
And I
agree.
think that awkwardness sometimes comes across as like, people think, oh, Joe Bonamassa is an asshole. But I just
No,
think he's a
I think
little
he's just
awkward,
awkward.
and he's a stupidly good player. You may not like his songs.
Well, he's
doing something right.
Yeah, here's what I think is in your favor with this, Derek, is that. So I'll share this fact about your lovely wife. She loves Pitbull. That's her favorite artist.
Well, let's also
And-
say she's a foreigner.
Hot-blooded. Not that foreign.
So
Yes.
she is a international woman.
Of
And
mystery.
Mr. Worldwide,
So and
Is the
she gets up
representative.
super early to go to work. So she's got to have something
something pumping.
pumping in the car
Now,
Pitbull radio
well, here's
keeps
what-
her awake on her drive to work.
Pitbull and Joe Bonamassa have something in common. Okay, what they have in common is the personalities are very large, at least on stage, right? I think if she went to go see Joe Bonamassa live, she would love the personality that Joe puts on for the show, in a good way, because like he has a big personality. He shows up.
It's also part of it is, as an immigrant, she loves the Pitbull story of how
yeah.
he immigrated to the U.S.
I can get that.
got
Yeah.
behind it
From the bottom to the top.
from the bottom to the top. Very
Going all
much
the way.
resonates with her.
Yeah.
But she does like the idea of having all of my guitar stuff not at the house and in some sort of
She's seeing
museum,
the grand place,
jam room quality place
out.
just to get stuff out of
Get
the
it
house.
out.
So, got that going for me at
Hell
least.
yeah, dude. That's right.
Liam says he heard the Joe Bonamassa stuff with Beth Hart is good. It is actually very good. I think that Joe Bonamassa actually shines anytime he's playing guitar for someone else. So whether it's that Black Country Communion, whether it's with Beth Hart,
Yep.
whether it's with whoever, I think
I heard the Black Country Communion stuff the other night on his Instagram, and I was impressed.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, the singer of that band is killer.
I
Really
wish
is.
that he would have gotten in a band early on and like been an iconic band, like guitar player.
Yeah.
We'd have a different view of him. You know what I mean? Like I don't mean me and you. I
Yeah.
just mean like
Well,
people
no,
in general
like-
probably.
no, you're straight up.
Because
Like-
there'd be some mystery. Right?
How cool would that be if let's fathom here for a second, like for whatever reason, John Mayer bumped into Joe Bonamassa in the early 2000s, and he said, "Man, I'm putting together this little trio thing for like some blues stuff, and I'd love to have a killer second guitar player who I can trade licks with back and forth." That would be insane. That would have been cool.
There's
Big
too,
egos.
too much ego, too many good players. There can't
they're
be.
too, the thing about them is they're in a weirdly similar way. Like Isaiah Sharkey's probably like the perfect guitar player for John Mayer, honestly, and maybe eats both of them off. But hard. And you know, and to Bonamassa's credit, he's got Josh Smith out there playing on the.
I was gonna say,
it was killer.
Feel like those guys, and maybe it's because of where they're at now. It seems like they've been able to put a lot of that aside. To see John Mayer join like the Grateful Dead and just play.
Here's a hot take: Joe Bonamassa becomes the new guitar player for Saturday Night Live. He could be a G.E. Smith replacement.
Dude, he would kill
No,
it.
because he can mimic. You know, like I don't know if you guys saw, he bought the Lowell George Dumble.
Oh, yeah.
Little Feet. Man, if you don't listen to Little Feet, go listen to Little Feet. But you know, he puts on the slide, and it's like, well, damn, there's the Lowell George tone. You know what I mean? And it's like he could just kind of do anything.
I think he could do that, and what I think would be cool too. I don't know why SNL never did this.
Here, mac and cheese.
I think it would be cool if they had people come through and they had to play with the Saturday Night Live band, not just do their set. Like to me, that would have been. way
Did Slash
cooler.
do that not long ago? Not Saturday Night Live, but he did it on one of the late shows or something.
I don't know.
Conan or one of those shows.
I know who's that dude? Is it Stephen Colbert? Maybe. I think Mac DeMarco. There's been a bunch of people who go and play with them because he's got that John Batiste guy as his pianist,
Yeah.
and he's pretty good. Pretty good player.
I'm trying to think of who I would have wanted to see old Joe Bonamassa play for.
Nickelback. It's not like you. Say sorry.
It had to be somebody like Beth Hart. You know what I mean? It had to be somebody who's. But anyways, I don't
That's
know.
right.
I don't know.
Well-
Crazy things to ponder. But
There
anyways,
you go.
guys, thank you for hanging out with us on the old live stream on a Tuesday morning this time. So no live stream tomorrow,
Tuesday.
obviously. Don't forget, we're on the road to 100K. Lots of giveaways. Make
right.
sure you are subscribed to be entered to win. That's the big thing. Be subscribed. So subscribe, share with your friends, comment on the videos. All that stuff increases your chances. But big thing is you got to be subscribed to win. So yeah, first giveaway is coming up. Remember, no live stream tomorrow, but we'll be back next week, I do believe.
That's right.
You'll be back. I will be gone. I'll be in great old state of Canada, the 51st state.
Here we
I don't
go
know if you
again.
guys have heard this, but
Oh shit. Here we go
anyways.
again.
anyways,
That's right.
there you go. So thanks for hanging out with us. Click like again, hit subscribe.
Hit the bell.
Bell's important. Everybody wish Derek a safe, fun trip.
That's right. Wish Derek a happy birthday too.
It was just his birthday.
was this weekend.
29 years old and counting.
Handsome as ever.
Handsome, even better.
Smoking hot.
Better every year. I would say.
A hot piece of trim right there, baby. You know what I'm talking about.
Peter, we'll see what happens. It's very possible that there's a play or two in one of those old
Who knows?
giveaways, but time will tell. Anyways, thank you guys. We'll see you next time.